All right, really quick tips and tricks video tonight, and we're going to do it on shared folders. What is a shared folder? It is a good method of transferring files in between a guest, in this case our Windows XP, to a host or from a host. And your host is your desktop or laptop on which you are running your VirtualBox manager. There are two ways to do this. I'll show you the first way here. We are in our VirtualBox manager. Let's highlight the VM that we want to interact with. Go to Settings, Shared Folders, and you can see this dialog here on the right, a Add New Folder button. That brings up this dialog here, and we're just going to work top to bottom. For the folder path, that is the folder on your desktop that you are going to share with the guest. I'm just going to use this example folder as an example. You can see I also have it open here in the background in Windows Explorer. Next one down is folder name. We're just going to leave that as example, but you can rename it to anything descriptive that you would like. Now, it does not like it if there are spaces in the name. See, if I put a space here, the OK goes away. So make sure that you do not have any spaces in your folder name. Mount point. The example that it gives is a drive letter, G:, for Windows, for example, and I've never really found this to be useful in this instance. It mounts it as a network drive using the folder name. So you'll see it as example when we go into Windows XP. The read-only checkmark, that makes it so that from the guest, you cannot add any folders, files, or change any folders or files from within the guest. This is really important if you are in a malware analysis environment. You don't want to risk anything from within the environment going to your PC. However, there are times when you would want to do that. And if you are going to do it, just make sure that you exercise extreme caution when doing so. If you are working with examples, those are not necessarily too dangerous. So in our class, for example, it's okay, but just remember that it's bad practice to transfer files back and forth. Auto mount. This is the one that you are going to want to have checked because it will mount that folder when it is booted. Otherwise, you'll have to go back in here and mount it manually. We'll go OK out of there, and start our VM. Up comes Windows XP, and just to prove that I am not lying to you, let's go into my computer, and under network drives, you have example on VBox server. Now, right now, there is nothing inside of that folder, but let's say I were to paste a text file into there. That would show up. Once you refresh that folder, and you can see this is a test file. You can open it, and as long as you don't have read-only checked, you can, let's add a little bit of gibberish to it, and save and close. And you can see that my gibberish made it back to the folder on my desktop. So that is how you transfer files in and out. Now, I did mention that there are two different ways to do this, and we can come up here to devices in a running virtual machine, go down to shared folders, shared folder settings. You can see that I have the example folder under machine folders. We can edit that, and you can see that we have an additional checkbox if we're working with it within the VM. And that is make permanent. If you uncheck this, it moves it down to transient folders. That means that when you finish with this virtual machine instance here, the session, once you close out of it, that folder will go away. If you want to keep it through multiple sessions, you would make permanent. And permanent is the default setting if you set it through the VirtualBox manager. Now, if you are adding a shared folder through the VM settings while it's running, let's say that we add an other file. to this Windows XP, and we'll add folder 2. Folder underscore 2. We'll make it read-only. We'll make it auto-mount, but we will not make it permanent. We don't really care. We'll go OK. And what do we see inside my computer? Not folder 2. If you mount the folder, at the very least in Windows XP, if you mount the folder while the VM is running, you do have to restart your VM. And the VM is back up. Let's go into my computer, and now that we have rebooted, we see folder 2. And I do believe that we made that read-only. So let's try... Let's just go into Notepad. And we will save our gibberish to my computer, folder 2. Ooh, disk N is write protected. So you cannot make any changes to a folder that says read only. However, you can, if you go into it through your host machine, create a new text document, close out here, refresh. You can move files from your host to your guest, just not the other way around on a read-only folder. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I am in the Discord, I am in the group chat, and thank you very much.